Hello. What is one of the most common concerns that you have when you're a project manager in Waterfall? One of the most common concerns is stakeholder management and how you do that. How do you identify the stakeholders? How do you keep them up to date, etc.? You don't hear a lot of talk about stakeholder management in Agile, and so I'm an Agile project manager, and I was thinking about that today. How are stakeholders managed in Agile? And this is what I came up with. Just looking at the basic practices of Scrum, how is stakeholder management done in Scrum? Well, and I live in the beautiful city of Tampa Bay, and there's a lot of beautiful nature trails around. And I'm walking down one of them right now, and I'm fixing to be passed by a group of young people, but here we go. So, stakeholder management in Scrum.
We'll be in a place.
Well, first we'll talk about Sprint Zero and putting together the whole product backlog with the product owner. The product owner is the key person in the stakeholder management part of it. They are the voice of the stakeholders, the users, and the extended community of users, including the vendors, etc., and the public in some cases. So they represent all of that. And in putting together an initial product backlog, the product owner is then involved with those stakeholders, creating the initial product backlog. Sometimes you do this in what you call a Sprint Zero. So that's the first place in which stakeholder management occurs, is in the pre-project part of it, the part where they're gathering the requirements and creating the user stories for an initial product backlog. So that's where it kind of begins at. Then from there, there are backlog grooming meetings that you have with the stakeholders and the developers together to take those initial stories and kind of groom them and to make them into more actionable stories that can be used in a sprint. So that's another touch point that the product owner, and that in that case the dev team, has with the stakeholders, etc. Another touch point, of course, is the main one. The main thing that the stakeholders need is they need a status report. Well, in Scrum, there aren't any really required reports, but at the end of the sprint, there's the sprint demo meeting. And that's where you just demonstrate what you produced in the sprint and show it to the stakeholders and collect their feedback. So that's where the stakeholders get their status report. They get it by looking at actual working software and seeing what's going on with that and providing feedback with that they then use to reprioritize things during the grooming sessions, etc. And new items come out of it. New requirements are thought of at that time that are added to the product backlog. So that's another touch point. And then back towards the beginning again, there's story writing workshops. When you create an initial story, it's not initially in an actionable state, and you have to work the stakeholders, the product owner gets stakeholders together and with the developers, and they can review the stories and make them more actionable, refine them a little more, split them if necessary, etc. So that's another touch point that you have with the stakeholders. So Scrum does not ignore stakeholders. It just has its own special way of dealing with them, different from what you would do in a waterfall type project. And now I'm headed back towards the start of the hiking trail, and I need water very bad. Thank you all very much. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, click on like, please. And if you have any questions, put it in a comment. If you want to share the video, please do share it. I thank you all very much.